Namaskar, welcome to Ek Samvad at Arunimankuran. On the occasion of Independence Day, we have an extremely special guest. It's an honor and privilege to have with us Wing Commander Garima Dikshit, who retired as a military pilot from the Indian Air Force. A very warm welcome to you and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for having me here.
It's absolutely an honor and privilege. A word about Aruni Ankuran. This is an initiative for positive social change through self development. The goal is greater well being and happiness for all. At Aruni Ankuran, we believe that each person is unique and special in some way, that each person can make a difference, that each person can create an impact. That's what inspires us to keep going. So we have such a lovely guest here today. She's the daughter of an army colonel. She's an engineering graduate. She joined the Indian Air Force in the flying branch in January 2007 and got commissioned in 2008 as a helicopter pilot. Completed short service tenure of 14 years in 2022. She has participated in beauty pageants and is actively involved as a mentor and personality grooming expert. And she is currently working in the corporate sector since 2023, immediately after release from the Indian Air Force. So, could you just briefly walk us through these pictures, Garima, before I show them the
Um, Absolutely, ma'am. So I come from an army background all throughout, studied in various schools. So joining the armed forces was a natural choice. My parents tell me this story that when I opened my eyes, it was in a military hospital, and my father was in the uniform. And when I went to the house that we stayed, a very small house in Jhansi cantonment, he drove in a jeep. I mean, he was driving, and mom was sitting in front. He very adventurous family, and firstborn of that house. So I had to join the forces. And my father, where he was posted when he was posted at Pathankot, especially, there was an aircraft which used to go for air maintenance towards Kargil. It used to get airborne from Chandigarh to Kargil, and it used to fly right over our house. And every day I would see that aircraft going and coming back.
Mm,
And I got interested in the Air Force. I said I want to give the SSB for the Air Force, and I made it. And so my parents were the most happiest people on earth to know that their daughter has now, when I got commissioned in 2008, this was the picture that got released on the front page of the Times of India newspaper. And in fact, it was a very candid moment. We didn't realize when this was clicked. And in fact, I think we were somewhere around Nagpur or somewhere. In fact, if I'm not wrong, we were coming back from Hyderabad towards Delhi, and our train stopped. And my father went down to get, we were in a train after my commissioning. We were coming back, and he got down to get tea and all. And then that's where he found this on the stall. So it was a very surprising moment for us that, that
okay.
something can be captured like this.
Ah.
So this is that picture.
The second one?
The second one, ma'am, it is the latest one. I mean, I was doing mess secretary. We in the Air Force, you don't just fly, you do a lot of other things as well. So I was doing mess secretary for a training facility, wherein trainee officers would come, and it was like a kind of a hotel, if you can say,
Hmm.
and managing everything.
Hmm.
I was a mess secretary there. If you can see my name there in
Yes.
the mess secretary, squadron leader, that time I was squadron leader Garima Dikshit. And it is a very challenging thing because I'd never done something like this, but it gave me such a immense learning value beyond flying. So that was the second picture. And the third picture is at the BFTS. This is Basic Flying Training School, where again I was posted, and this is where the training would happen of
Hmm.
the new officers. So I was already a squad leader here. And the fourth picture is of a dining night that we have in the Air Force, which is very common very ceremonial, wherein then the new officers get graduated. So it is not mine, but of one of the batches which was getting graduated.
Okay. What does that inscription in this third picture mean to you?
Ma'am, it is, you know, the tenure of a person there. I mean, a trainee comes there for 6 months to a training school. The officer gets posted there for 3 years. But in that, although the curriculum is same, the training is same, but the experiences are very different. Every person takes the training different. Every person, the trainee is different. The guy who's training them is different. But there is a
Yes.
legacy which people come in the forces and then they leave, but there is a legacy that moves forward, and we
Yeah.
all have that responsibility on our shoulder to pass it on to the next generation, that the next generation then carries it and passes it on. So I may move on, but my legacy will remain immortal. What I've learned and what I am teaching, and it's so relevant in life as well. I mean, like, even after coming out of the Air Force, I feel, the values are immortal. The
Yes.
values are immortal in me. I have transformed, and I have transformed many, and I'm still continuing to do so. So it's a legacy that you leave behind, and you don't even realize it when the history gets made.
Yes. Surely. So there is a nice is an understatement. There's this video. A moment of pride. I think I'll play this before we start talking.
And this is the tableau from the Indian Air Force, commemoration of 50 years of the 1965 war. The proud officers on the tableau are Squadron Leader Garima Dikshit, a helicopter pilot, Flight Lieutenant Akhil Mahajan, a fighter pilot, and Flight Lieutenant Gini Chaudhary, a transport pilot.
Warm welcome to you, Garima. And
Thank you so
you've
much,
already
ma'am.
told us the story of the inspiration that came to you and why you joined the Air Force. Walk us through some of the initial experiences and tell us how wearing a uniform transforms a person.
Absolutely, ma'am. When you say that a uniform is something that you wear, it is one thing that I feel I got inspired looking at the uniform of my father. Today also, when he's a retired soldier, he's got pain in his knees, his back pains, he's 70 plus. But I still remember the person that he was, and the uniform carries that charisma. And the same happened with me also. The moment you wear that, I think the identity absolutely shifts. And it is also ingrained in us through our day-to-day lives. The parade that you do, the run that you run, you know every every small nitty-gritty. Now when I look back, I feel it is to inculcate a sense of belonging towards your uniform. So uniform played a very important thing in my life. I was a very ordinary girl. When I got selected in the Air Force, I transformed to an extent that you won't believe. I learned how to fly an aircraft first, and then I learned the car. I i um, i didn't know it. I was all of 20 years old, and I started flying. And when I came back home, I told my father, "Can I drive your car?" He said, "No, you don't know driving." So I said, "The Air Force has trusted me with their aircraft. Can't you trust me with your car?" Then that is when he trusted me with the car. But something happens definitely. So I think I transformed over the period of time. I was a shy person as a kid. Although I come from army background, and wherein, when we were growing up, we saw Shushmita Sen and Priyanka Chopra and all these people who are from the army background getting recognized globally. And not even that, the guy who was running Google, Sabir Bhatia, he was also from the army background. And a lot of army kids were doing very well that time and still are. And we knew that we had to do something, but we weren't really sure what happens to us. Why are we different? We are in ordinary schools, and uh, but for me, I feel the uniform per se. When I wore it, mind and body are so correlated is when I realized over the period of time how I transformed. And today I feel that I can do anything. I there's nothing that I can't do. That is a story. That is my story. Uh, Changed many schools and just came into the Air Force. In fact, you won't believe I got into the flying branch. I was not even aware I'm going to the flying branch.
Hmm.
I had filled although I wanted to go to, I liked the aircraft, but I probably never thought that I deserved to be a pilot, probably in ground duties or somewhere I can be. That's what I thought, you know. But when the SSB thing happened and I told my dad that they are telling that been selected for the flying branch, and how will I fly now that they've selected me? So he said, go with the flow. Don't doubt. There is a process. Just follow the process, and you'll come out of it. You'll become a product. They have a process in place, and undoubtedly, ma'am, it is a beautiful process.
There are a lot of kids, Garima, who would be listening in and who would really like to know how exactly that process works. So just walk us through the initial experiences of Garima
Okay,
entering
ma'am.
the process and, how exactly it worked for you.
So, ma'am, I know many people, and including me,
Hmm.
who were, you can say, somewhere. Obviously, got selected through SSB, so we were somewhere. You can say we had to become 100% to pass out, because there are no compromises that the Air Force makes. Till such time you do not come to that standard, they will not pass you out or they will remove you. So if you say 10%, the training is such that they make sure that you become somewhere around 90, 95, or almost 100, and then only you can come out. And I feel that uh, the effort that goes in from the person, you are inspired also, but it is, you don't know how you do it. It is a round the clock thing. uh, Sleeping at a certain time, not beyond that. I mean, you sleep at 10, beyond that if your light is also on, it is not acceptable. So your day starts a night before, and
Hmm.
then you get up early in the morning, 5 o'clock, and you start running. I remember in the training time at the Air Force Academy, we were not allowed to walk. uh, Walking is not allowed. You have to be always jogging. We used to wonder how silly is that as a little, as a cadet. So all the time with, but that ingrained in us the sense, the importance of fitness, and how you can utilize even a millisecond or a second
Yes,
towards your goal. It's an identity shift of a fitness enthusiast. And so you're not wasting any time. If you're standing, you might as well be running. And
right.
you're not slack also.
Hmm.
You're in that mode all the time. So that was my journey, ma'am. And along the way, they had fitness also. Like we have PFR, which is all about running test that used to be there. Then the parade test used to be there. Swimming test used to be there. And in between, you will have your flying also. Ground tests would be there. And standards are very, very high for everything. Firing will be there. And I think apart from the running test, which for women used to be 1 minute extra than the male candidates, but for everything else, it was absolutely the same. And when you do that slowly, slowly, you also perform, you come at certain level, then you see, okay, this is not acceptable. I have not cleared this exam. Then
Hmm.
you again put in more effort,
Hmm.
and you realize that your mind plays such a role. So all this happened, and eventually you get you come into the Air Force. And now I feel Air Force, almost 16 years, because if you count the training as well, went by like a blink, actually, because
Hmm.
it kept you so busy on your toes.
So yes, Garima, another experience which must have been very special is the first solo flight, maybe. Can
Yes,
you talk
yes,
to us
ma'am.
about that?
Ma'am, in fact, I won't say that, I was airsick. And the flight would happen, you would take off, and you had to do aerobatics as well. and the aircraft was, I think the fumes would come. It wasn't like the civil counterparts would fly. And then you have to do aerobatics also. So by the time my solo check came, I was already by this, aerobatics and that fume. I was probably not coping up, and I was really worried whether I will be able to become a pilot. And if I go back home, how will I show my face to the family? And
Oh,
everybody would say,
right.
So I was really, really worried because of that. And I remember when my solo check happened, it was early morning, around 6 o'clock. It was the first flight what happened. Um, and then the instructor came and he said, and I told him before he would say, I didn't know whether he's passing me or not. I looked at him and I said, Sir, let me just go. Even if I die, no problem. And he got really, and you can't speak so much in the Air Force. I mean, in front of the flight commander, he's an officer, you're a cadet, and you're speaking such dramatic lines. So he got very angry at me. He said, "What are you talking?" But then he said, "Okay, go kill yourself." I know you will not stop. Just I don't know, you're on your own now then. So the solo happened, and it was out of the world. I think till date, if I have to count few, it is on my fingertips that few things that the real sense of joy and achievement. Definitely.
Wow, that's so amazing just to hear, even.
Because, ma'am, whenever you're going for flight, you have your instructor with you, and even if I do something wrong, he's there to save us. And now that you're going alone, there is nobody. I'm responsible for my life, for the safety of this aircraft, for everything, my aspirations, goals. I have to be there, and so I remember the turn. I remember after the takeoff, I remember the turn, the cross turn, and I looked, there was nobody. And the aircraft felt lighter, and it had more vibrations, obviously, because the person wasn't there. And I was turning towards the left, and I was like, oh God, he's not there. I might as well land properly. So that was the thrill and the joy of it.
We're talking in the context of Independence Day. So
Okay.
there are a lot of pilots in the country doing commercial flying. How does being an Air Force pilot make you feel different? Could you just talk to us about that?
Ma'am, one is, I mean, I don't know. There are no, in fact, I being a helicopter pilot, it gives me that thrill that, that I could take off from anywhere and land anywhere. I decide my landing spot in the air. There is no controller or there is no prepared field for me. So I will do recce, airborne recce, and then I will find, okay, this is my landing spot. And then I will, do a run first and then go in for landing at that place. So as an Air Force pilot, I think this you get, because of the operational component of the Air Force, you have this leeway of landing at such places, and in fact flying at such places where there are no ATC controllers. You're flying, and now say Rudraprayag or Badrinath sector. So you feel it is operationally very it gives you that thrill and joy. And when you're doing rescue operations, the flood relief operations, or you're doing the search and rescue for various missions, or we had done for one, I remember, what was at a very high altitude, all snow capped, and uh, the aircraft had to be very, very light. And we had to have the pilot, co-pilot, and the winch operator, because it was a foreign national and it was at a very high fee. If it was that foreign national was doing mountaineering,
Hmm.
and we had to take that person, and winching had to be done.
Hmm.
We weren't sure where is that guy. We had to locate him, and so we left the doors of the aircraft was also removed to make it very, very light. so that we could go at that height.
Hmm.
And it was so cold, ma'am, and we were wearing winter clothing and we had gloves on. And I remember we were totally shivering. We were absolutely shivering. We were on controls, and not because of one, we were looking for him, and because the climatic conditions were so harsh. And we got him, we came back, and then obviously that this thrill of having this opportunity of saving lives is really it stays with you forever. Such experiences, you tell your kids. I have a child who's 11 years. I tell him these stories, and he feels very inspired to hear that his mother has done such operations. So I think that must be a little different from the civil counterparts.
So you were a pilot in the Indian Air Force, and you were doing it for the country. And if it came to that, your life is on the line. So, Garima, talk to us some of the most memorable experiences you've had as a military pilot. If you're,
Okay, ma'am. So, ma'am, uh, amazed, when you're flying, when you're, like I said, I come from all in the uh, in the army, and my now brother is flying for the Air Force. He's a Sukhoi pilot, and so when you're doing rescue missions, especially for the army, when you do that, you
Mhm,
land at a place and you've seen your dad and you've seen his friends wearing those ranks, and when you land at places which are very close to China border, and when you see, that person comes, he's all clad because it's such a difficult terrain, and you can only see the ranks, and okay, he's somebody who's looking after this, and the China border is right there. And then you're taking his personnel on board in your aircraft, and you see the happiness on his face, and the moment, I mean, I would feel that. I'm not sure how true it is. I'm sure because 16 years back when I had started flying, the women were very less still, especially in such roles, especially helicopters. And he would see me, he would realize, okay, it's a woman officer, he's a women pilot, and he would be very respectful. I would see that pride on his face. Somebody I'm proud of the fact that he's my community, and he's here, he's doing such a job, he's protecting the country, and I'm able to give back and contribute for his unit. So
mhm,
that kind of an experience really stays with you. Of course, it as a helicopter pilot, you also are supposed to do a lot of search and rescue missions. So you you see people, in fact, dying in front of you, and that makes you very because you're supposed to do search and rescue for fighter aircrafts also, for other missions as well. But one episode which stays very close to me, my heart, and pains me is of a person we lost when we I was posted in Rajasthan sector, and this happened around Nal. The ejection happened, and the pilot couldn't survive, and we had to do the search and rescue. And when you're flying back to your base, there is this very dirty silence in the aircraft also, because you couldn't save. So although you're doing all the checks and all, and your co-pilot is there, and you're flying your aviation, they say, you're supposed to aviate and you're supposed to communicate and everything is happening, but at the back of your mind you're very heavy. So when you land back, you're a normal person. So all this also you have to go through.
which is that one experience, Garima, that always brings a sense of pride for you, of so many years that you've been wearing the uniform, doing it for the country.
Ma'am, in fact, the video that you have, when um US President Mr. Barack Obama and Michelle Obama had to come to India. They were coming for the Republic Day parade, and the Air Force had selected me to be on the tableau that year. And so, the seeing it from childhood we've been seeing it from the sitting on the other side from the television. I mean, you're looking at the television, the angle is different. But when you're standing there, the angle at which you see the president and his wife, and you see the prime minister of your country, who you really, really look up to, your president, and you see the entire entourage and the whole public there, and it is January, cold winter morning, Republic Day. And when you're doing that, the sense of pride and the video still, like I have shared it with you as well, it still gives me goosebumps, and I it takes me to that experience, and you feel ki yes, this was one of the most memorable uh, moments.
So congratulations to you on
Thank
being
you,
that
ma'am.
person, Garima.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Before we conclude this conversation with you, we are an independent nation and we have a young population that could learn so much from the forces. So share with us some of the lessons that you think they can learn from someone like you.
Ma'am, in the forces, the thing is that you cannot say, I don't know this. One person, like I said, gets an exposure of almost everything,
Mm,
and you learn so much so fast. You're expected, and because everyone around you is doing that, the forces instill in you the never give up attitude
mm,
and doing your best, whatever you can, in whatever resources you have. You get posted to various places where there absolutely nothing, but you still go there with a smile. And the best that you're supposed to rise up to occasion and give your best. And I don't think any organization could give me that kind of a privilege of getting groomed.
mm, mm,
So I somehow feel that every youngster should at least go for 5 years. Now we have 10, 14 years, but a little bit of exposure to serving the nation like that, in
yes.
those as a 20, 21 year old, would definitely leave you as a different person for the rest of your life.
Uh, Share a message for everyone who's listening in, Garima.
Ma'am, I feel like I'm in the corporate now. I'm working, and I see a lot of youngsters around me. The message to them is yes, while forces really is my pride, is something that it is very close to my heart. But I feel that not everybody has the same trajectory of life. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, do your best. So, like the other day when we were having Operation Sindoor, I had some work at the bank. So I went to the bank, and the guy knew that I'm a retired Air Force officer, and he said, "Ma'am, we are very proud of what is happening, and how the Air Force is responding." And he asked me a question. He said, "Ma'am, what can we do?" You know,
Yeah.
and I was so happy. I said, "You're making me so proud." You asked me, and it was a very genuine question. He said, "Ma'am, what can we do
Mm,
as civilians to the organization, to the Air Force?" I said, "Just do your work. You're doing it so nicely, and do it with pride.
mm,
You are helping me get my bank account and bank things done, and you're helping all the other citizens. Your efficiency, you're doing a very good job. Although it's a government job, on whatever we have the perception that typically people have, that how they would function, but you're doing it very nicely, and that's what is your contribution." So my message would be that as an independent nation, freedom of your mind,
mm,
let it grow, let a lot of things come in,
mm,
expand your horizons, and don't restrict your knowledge. Keep upskilling yourself in various fields, and don't be scared to change your fields also. So I have changed a lot of fields, and I still keep exploring. Upskill yourself and live a beautiful life. Stay happy, keep smiling, and that's my message.
Thank you so much, Garima, for being on Ek Samvad at Arunima Ankuran. We are so grateful for your service to the nation and very proud of you. It's been
Thank
an
you so much,
honor
ma'am.
talking to you. Thank you very much
It
for
was
being.
my privilege. It was lovely talking to you, ma'am. Thank you so much.